Welcome back to Movie Stories. Today's story is a drama, adventure, mystery and sci-fi film from 2019 titled Ad Astra. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In the near future, where people have populated the moon as well as Mars, a 52-year-old astronaut Major Roy McBride takes a psych evaluation and makes his way to a space antenna. Climbing down a ladder, he is high above Earth in a spacesuit. Suddenly everything starts crashing down and a mechanical arm detaches. After some bling swoosh, he jumps down to the power lever and deactivates it. As he falls towards Earth, luckily he is equipped with superhuman calmness and a parachute. He avoids losing consciousness like everyone else who falls beside him. He even survives someone slamming their body through his flight umbrella. Ah yes, a true stoic. Maybe it's the fact he has no one to disappoint. Back at his place he hears the news reporting electrical storms all over the Earth. Roy attends a meeting with Spacecom. Impressed with his resume, they ask him if the rumor is true that he never had a pulse over 80 during any of his spacewalks. Surprisingly, even during the entire time of the crash. When they ask him if he ever was married or had children, he replies that he did not want to subject others to his dangerous life. Secret information about the origin of electrical storms is passed on. Neptune releases cosmic ray bursts of high-energy particles. It is emphasized that the uncontrolled chain reaction releasing antimatter could possibly destroy all life. It is believed that his father, Clifford McBride, a pioneer space traveler, is still alive near Neptune. The Lima project crew left when Roy was 16 and lost contact 20 years ago. At the news that his father may still be alive, Roy's mind seems to race, and it's the first time he's shown signs of distress. They ask Roy to send a secure personal message from Mars to the Lima project in hopes that his father will respond. He must travel commercially to the moon to keep the mission top secret. Roy reminisces about the past and looks at an old recording of his father, optimistic about finding new life. He has just flown past Jupiter and at the end said, "I love you, son." Colonel Thomas Pruitt, an old friend of his father's, is to accompany him on his mission. Roy informs him that he believes his father is dead. Pruitt was an astronaut for 31 years and makes it clear just how much space can tempt one to another level of escape. Based on his own thoughts of escape, he believes there is a possibility that he is still alive. While preparing for his trip to the moon, he has a flash of memory of being in love with Eve. He begins to send her a personal voice message telling her that he never wanted her to leave, but decides against it. He flies to the moon on a futuristic commercial airline. Roy comments that this technology is a joke compared to the dream they once had. Since they have another planet to mine and use as a destination, he calls humans world eaters. He believes his father would tear it all down if he saw it. It becomes clear how much Roy believes in his father, the hero. As he talks to Colonel Pruitt again, he calls their efforts desperate at best. Problems arise because his connecting flight to Mars is on the dark side of the moon. The way there is supposed to be no man's land. Along the way, shots are fired at Roy's rover and desperate calls for backup are made. After being grazed by a bullet, Roy gets his suit punctured. Luckily he is able to close it. Roy fires at the enemy. His rover launches over a crater but lands safely. 2 missiles are fired from the station, taking out the pirates that were chasing them. All those accompanying them perished. Colonel Pruitt says he will not make it to Mars because he was injured in the fight. He wants him to know the truth about the mission and hands him a drive. Roy mounts Cepheus to Mars and mood stabilizers are distributed. "Peasants, do you think a true stoic like me needs these silly drugs?" The drive Thomas gave him reveals the true mission: to annihilate every last remnant of the Lima project. On their way to Mars, they receive a distress call. The co-pilot gets scared, so Roy takes his place and boards the ship with the captain. They separate, and when Roy is unable to get Captain Tanner to copy over the comm, he finds him shaking. As he gets closer, he sees a large baboon eating the captain. As soon as the primate sees Roy, it attacks. Roy fights the animal off. He shocks it with a device. As he grabs Tanner, another baboon attacks. He closes the hatch door and releases the pressure in the room with the baboons. Roy seals the helmet with duct tape and returns with the former captain. The co-pilot must now be captain and Roy takes the co-pilot's seat. On landing, the angle of the rocket gets off course. Since it has to be corrected manually, Roy needs permission from the chief pilot. He repeatedly asks for his command, but he is frozen with fear and unable to respond. When there is no more time to hesitate, Roy takes matters into his own hands. He stabilizes the airship with calm concentration. He comments on how he will refrain from reporting the incident when it is over. When they enter the underground facilities, they find that they have landed during a power surge. Roy is met by Helen Lantos, the head of operations on Mars. A secure laser transmission is prepared and Roy is given a pre-written script. He reads the messages very robotically and explains that they will offer a rescue mission, but they get no response. He's always known Spacecom was using him, but what choice does he have? He feels a slight yearning and hopes that his father might still be alive. Roy deviates from the script for the first time and talks about shared memories that are authentic for the first time. A conversation ensues between the officers and they suddenly inform him that he will be returning to Earth soon. Roy asks if they have received a response from his father, but he is told that he is no longer fit for the mission due to his personal connection. He insists that his father must have answered him if they are going to pull him off the mission. Spacecom does not tell him and he feels a tinge of desperation. The walls he had built himself begin to crack as his blood pressure rises above 80 for the first time in his excitement. After failing his first psychological evaluation, he is sent to a calming room in white with paintings of flowers and birds. When Helen Lantos enters the room, he initially barks at her. He needs some time to think for himself. Then she asks Roy if he knows that there are nuclear munitions aboard the Cepheus, which would soon be leaving on a search and destroy mission to Neptune. Helen takes Roy to another area of the base and tells him everything she knows. She believes his father is still alive and tells him that she was born on Mars and has only been to Earth once. She reveals that her parents were aboard the Lima mission. Screams are heard on a recording, then his father appears. People started boycotting the mission, wanting to go back home, wanting to give up after 16 years of searching for another life. He could not let that happen. He said they had to continue their search. This is something bigger than themselves. When the crew sabotaged the ship, he was forced to react and killed everyone. Spacecom has made him a hero to protect themselves. Roy asks if Helen can take him to the Cepheus. Helen brings Roy close to the shuttle. He climbs down a hatch tube and dives into the lake in a full spacesuit, using a rope line to progress. It's a close call and Roy just makes it onto the Cepheus before it takes off. Roy insists that he is not a threat, but his pleas are not heard. Spacecom instructs the crew to neutralize Roy by any means necessary. They struggle to get to him and when a shot hits one of the oxygen tanks, the air begins to get poisonous. In desperation, he tries to put a mask on the captain, but it's too late. Roy radios mission control to explain why he boarded the Cepheus, and regretfully informs them that all crew members are deceased. Roy states that he is on his way to Neptune to destroy any remnants of the Lima project. He turns off all means of communication to avoid detection, and begins the 79-day journey. On board the ship, Roy watches a video of Eve talking about how busy he always is with his work. Roy inserts a feeding tube into his stomach, and electrodes on his body, presumably to stimulate his muscles while in space. He experiences many conflicting memories as he struggles with being alone for so long, and his mental and physical state begins to deteriorate. Roy finally approaches Neptune and enters the nuclear codes to access the explosives. As he approaches the Lima station, his spaceship is affected by a power surge and loses power. Roy radios to Lima to contact his father. His spaceship is damaged and cannot dock, so he leaves the capsule and climbs into Lima, as it floats off into space without him. When Roy opens the hatch, he finds dead astronauts floating around and an old-school music video still playing. In his father's room are crazy notes written over multiple papers and journals. When he finds the room with the antimatter, he places the nuclear device. Suddenly, he hears his father call his name. After a long pause, Roy says, "Hi Dad, are you alone?" Clifford replies that he has been alone for a long time. Roy states he is trying to stop the surge. Clifford explains that the last escape attempts caused a meltdown. Roy tells him it's time to go home, but his father says he's already home and has always known it was a one-way journey. Clifford hits Roy with, "I never cared for you or your mother, your little ideas." Roy simply replies, "I know." Roy wants to return and reaches out to his father, who eventually lets him lead him to his spacesuit. As they share a moment, his father says, "I am proud of you, my son, for being so brave as to go alone. If they'd had more men like him, they could have gone on and found what they were looking for." His crew checked the data and found no other life out there, so they gave up. Fully suited up, they leave the Lima station, connected to each other by an anchoring rope. Roy asks his father to climb up with him, but instead his father lunges into space and tells Roy to let him go. Roy starts to pull him back with the tether, but his father insists, "Unhook me, son." So Roy does. He floats out into space unsure of what is the point to even try anymore, but after thinking about Earth, he decides to return to Lima. Roy removes a panel door and uses it as a shield as he launches himself through the rings of Neptune and back towards his ship. On his way back through the rings, he dodges asteroids and remembers downloading his father's data before he left the Lima station. His father had captured details that had never been captured before, but beneath the beauty of the surface of these planets was nothing. Focusing so much on the life that was not there, he overlooked the beauty that was. Using the trusty suit thrusters, he makes it back to the Cepheus, landing roughly, but managing to get hold of an exterior handle. Roy radios back to command that he made it to Lima and will detonate the device to eliminate the surges. He will try to return using the explosion as his propellant. If he does not survive, they should go to great lengths to recover the remains and the data collected over all these years. The Cepheus shakes as it is shot forward with tremendous speed. Now equipped with a beard, he approaches the Earth. After a safe landing with background chatter from the comms, he has made it back to Earth. Soldiers rush to retrieve him, and with his legs wobbly, he is supported by several men. Roy records a psych evaluation. After a recovery period, he meets his ex-wife Eve. In his final psychological evaluation, Roy says, "I'm deciding to live a shared life from now on. I will share the burdens of others and let close ones be part of my grievances as well. I will live and I will love." The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this.